What is up, guys? PC War Room. We are back and we are switching it up. I kind of want to do like an opinion video, reaction video, whatever you really want to call it. Um, it is actually called the Skinwalker in my backyard. It was posted by a guy named Mad Vlad. Um, and it was relatively recent. His newest video was posted just a day ago. And if I'm not mistaken, I do believe he's from my neck of the woods as well, or he moved to my neck of the woods. And but yeah, I believe the guy is like a Twitch streamer. I do know he is a content creator. Uh, he is apparently new to YouTube because these are the only two videos that he has, posted at all. So, you know, but there's just some things in these two videos, and I'm not going to show them all in their entirety. I will link them in the description below. And but I'm a very, very small time, content creator, myself. I'm very small time. And so, I don't have I'm not going to go through and edit a lot of things. I'm not going to add background music to things that shouldn't have background music. Actually, I don't believe in it at all, to an extent. I mean, if it's a game clip or something like that, oh yeah, that's fine. But if you're trying to do something like this, yeah, you need to lay off the heavy editing and the you know music, and we'll cover that later on. Um, but anyway, like I said, we're not going to go through it all. We're going to go through bits, pieces, and stop it, talk about it, and move on. So I'm going to start it at 114. He's talking about actually hearing some sounds that he believes it isn't a dog. Doesn't sound like a dog. Um, so let's listen to the clip and watch it. And November 2021. So not quite a year yet.
2021. It was a cold night, and we were taking our new puppy Charlie outside to use the bathroom. We started hearing what sounded like barking noises from across the field behind our house. Upon listening to this barking sound, I noticed that it really didn't sound like a dog. It almost sounded like something was mimicking a dog. Didn't think nothing of it at the time. We were in good spirits, and I started barking back at it. Or rather, I was saying woof.
Woof! Woof! Bark! Bark, bark, bark! I hope that ain't a dog.
And 5 seconds later, we heard the sound again, only it was right on our fence line. Again, didn't think nothing of it at the time. Then a few seconds later, we heard it on the opposite end of the field. Me and my girl were kind of puzzled.
All right. I can actually tell you, I do appreciate, he does kind of go back and forth when things start getting a little bit meh. The security system actually has audio. Now, albeit it's not the greatest audio in the world, so what he could be hearing and what we're hearing, might be different. But to me, when he says that this isn't a dog, to be perfectly honest, from the audio source that I'm getting, it just literally sounds like a dog. I mean, I don't hear any difference really in the sounds that I'm hearing. Then, to the 5 seconds later, it's at my fence. And then 5 minutes later or whatever, it's coming from the other side of the field, further away. It could still be a dog, but it could also be just a pack of dogs, stray dogs. One dog could have been at your fence line while the rest of them was, further off into the field. Another thing is, I understand that you have to cut and piece together your video. But the one thing is timestamps. None from what I can see, other than one, which is in your part 2, I do believe gives a date, but it's the wrong date. So, timestamps would be perfect because, if anybody that was kind of skeptical, when you said, 5 seconds here, or, when you cut, we don't know how far you cut. You could have waited and you could have edited it out 10 minutes, 20 minutes. I'm not saying that you did, but that's my point of view. So, yeah, if you're going to do more of these, put your timestamp. I mean, that would save you a lot of headaches from other people, which I'm pretty sure you've already heard that.
It was the exact same sound, but how could an animal move that fast? Again, didn't think nothing of it. And we started hearing other sounds, kind of like a bird. And again, I mocked it. Me and my girl were kind of weirded out about the situation, but
now that sound, I'll be honest, I can't distinguish that sound with a bird. And I've listened to bits to these sound bites a lot since we watched them. That one, I'll kind of give you that one. That one was a bit weird, because I have never heard a bird sound like that before, personally, anyway.
But we didn't take it too seriously. So we ended up going back inside, and about an hour later, it hit me. I couldn't stop thinking about it. I was like, what could have made those sounds? And how could those sounds move from one side of the field to the other, which was hundreds of yards away from each other? Now, it's kind of hard to hear what was going on from the crappy audio of my security cam, but it was one of those things where you had to be there to really experience what we were hearing. The exact same sound, moving hundreds of yards in just a few seconds. So the next night, I went outside to smoke a...
So, once again, there could be multiple animals behind this. And again, the barking, the howling, that to me does sound more like dogs, whether it be strays or a possible coyote. I don't think it was a coyote. Um, but yeah, I mean, you can have two or three dogs on this side and then two or three more on the other side. They could be further away, especially if they're running, if they're not running together as a pack, or, they could be running together as a pack, but they're, of course, they're hunting. Um, but, honestly, the part, and this is why, I'm doing the video, because, man, this has got me questioning the validity of everything anyway. And there's one piece that really does make me question it hardcore. Um, but when you say, something just wasn't right, or, I get that you may have had a feeling, but anybody from here, they're not going to pay one hell iota to howling, barking, or anything along those lines. We're just not. So this is where it starts being like, oh, okay, so what's really going on here? Next clip. You're actually going to see him standing there, and then there's going to be something in front of him. A lot of people have kind of called it like a spider web. I don't know what to make of it. I mean, it's literally right in front of him. So, you can't, of course, security cam, you're not going to get the best. But to me, this looks just like a scene, or, this thing here just looks just like a scene out of an actual B-rated movie from, what, the 1980s, early 80s, 70s? Some sort of like alien thing, just, kind of just floating around. I can't tell you what it is. It does move weird. So, I mean, if you watch the way it moves, but the thing that I've got is you're not moving at all. I mean, this guy is literally not moving, at all. So he doesn't see it, or he's in some sort of trance. But the way this thing is moving, I don't want to say it's faked because I don't have all the info just yet, but this is, I don't know. And then once again,
From that day on, I knew.
There is no timestamp on the security feed. Okay, now this is where things for me actually start picking up, and triggers are starting to go off. You say you knew that you were dealing with something paranormal. Um, Skinwalkers, paranormal, it's totally different aspects. I don't know the word for it. The Skinwalkers, were able to take the shapes. You couldn't really say that they were paranormal, as they were, your witch doctors, or you know people like that. Shamans. However, the natives would see them. Um, so they wasn't per se a skinwalker or paranormal. You could actually say that supernatural, yes. Paranormal, not so much.
I was dealing with something paranormal.
Um, all right, now we are. Now we'll watch this other one later. Um, because he does debunk himself on this, because he was called out on it. So I'm not even going to bother with all of it. But he does add some sounds again. And to me, that is 100% coyote.
I don't know if you guys can hear this. I might have to look at the security cam footage, but it sounded like coyotes litter.
Yeah, see, that is 100% a coyote. I deal with them enough. So, we're not even going to bother with that. Um, Now, he does go into the Lord. I mean, the guy does do his homework. I mean, I'll give him credit on that. He kind of, says, oh, okay. You know, this was a Navajo, folklore. And that's really what the Skinwalker is. It's a folklore legend. And so, I mean, he really does go in depth with that and kind of explain it. Um, what he does attempt to do is he wants to actually go out and try to get the information, get answers, which there is nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that at all. But one, and he actually admits it as well. He admits it as well. He screwed up. He should have never have went out the way he did, and he was literally sitting under a tree. He wasn't sitting in a tree. He was sitting under a tree in an open field with possible coyotes, uh, with bear spray. Um. So yeah, he goes through all that. Like I said, we're not going to go all through in detail. I'm trying to explain as we go, because he's got like an hour and some odd video here. Now the newest one is right in here. He gets some. He actually goes out and buys a golf cart so he can go into this field. Which, okay, it's a lot better than an e-bike. But, I mean, really? A golf cart? I mean, at that point, you might as well just get a razor. Or a side-by-side. Something with a little bit more meat on its bones. And he actually does, he goes out, he supposedly buys...
Lost back in the fields, and it was effortless to go where we wanted. This thing was a beast. I didn't know golf carts were so powerful, so handy. But it lit a fire underneath me. I could now carry my equipment. I could even comfortably sit in the golf cart throughout the night. I ended up buying some more hunting cams, setting them up in various places throughout the fields. One spot in particular was next to a creek. It just had a weird vibe to it. I let the cameras run for a couple of weeks, and I monitored their activity. Found some pretty interesting things.
All right, now this is where everything goes off the rails. Okay, this is where it starts. Bambi! There we go. Bambi again. All right, now this is where I have to wonder why. I mean, that is some weird crap. Okay, it's literally on the camera.
Before we dig into part...
So, I mean, that right there, I can't tell you what it was. I don't know. Okay. It almost looked like a jaw structure before the camera died. Now, that could have been... anybody messing with you. I mean, you do have trail cameras set up. Now, I will actually end up playing bits and pieces of this part. But short, the long story short on the cams is apparently he goes to go get them. And they're all gone. Except for one. So.
That's interesting. Looks like somebody took the module out of it. That's nope, here it is. There's that. And here is the module. Great. Maybe this caught something. Battery's low. Okay, hold that. Did you get the laptop?
No, it's right there.
Yes. Okay. All right, well.
Okay, so he's got the one. The module has been popped out. So, one, here's where, you know, if you bought all these trail cameras, you should have put the air pods, or, you know, the low jack on them. That would have actually helped. So I'm just saying on that, you know, man, I mean, if you do end up seeing this video, you do end up watching it, my recommendation is to low jack your cams. Then you can find out where they're at. Just in case they were thrown in the, you know, the water, I would seal them up airtight where water can get to them. That way you'll know. But
Thank God for that. Let's see what's on this. Can you hold this? There's probably some kids or something I want to see right now. Okay, let's pull the SD card out. Okay. What did that even sound like?
I don't know.
Okay, let's go. I'm getting a little paranoid. Okay.
so, you know, he finally sees it for the first time. Yeah, he does have a look of concern on his face. So, I mean, I would even have the look of concern on my face as well, especially with, I don't know how many cameras. I don't think he was specific on how many that he supposedly bought, but only one has actually survived. Whatever. I would actually say the others were probably just picked up by some kids, or, you know, whoever owns that property. So, but anyway.
I'm gonna go home and better inspect this video. What I discovered on that trail cam scared me. Whatever it was definitely an animal. From what I can make of it, it looks like a deer. But it definitely does not sound like a deer. And how is a deer able to push a tiny button on the trail cam to pop the modular out? I watched that video probably 100 times and couldn't make any sense of it.
So it looks like the camera that he was actually using, the button, it's not real small. I mean, it's as big as your thumb, maybe a little bit bigger. But from my workings with some of them, you know, they do require some tension to be able to pop that module out. To me, it didn't look like a deer. It really didn't. Now, there could be, you know, the reasonable explanation for that was it slung the camera, and it could, you know, the module may not have been locked or secured good enough. So if it got slung, or, you know, if it hit a certain way, you know, it could have just popped out. Now, you know, there, and then on top of that, you know, you do have the distance from where the module was found to the cam. You know, whatever it was could have, you know, kicked it around, and moved it. So, but, you know, now this is where I've got to ask why. Um, you know, you went out of your way, and all right, guys, I'm just gonna play the clip.
It was time to get to work. Snipper and Morgan didn't have much time, so we decided to actively push the situation. We wanted to get something irrefutable. A couple weeks prior to the holiday, I decided to pick up some ghost hunting equipment. This is something I wasn't going to do at first. I don't necessarily believe in all the equipment.
This is where you completely lost me. And, I understand that you lost trail cameras, but you have a piece of evidence. Well, say it's evidence that is physical. Your cameras are gone, which we don't know, happened to them. One was literally knocked down with the module out with about 10 seconds of something in front of your camera knocking it over. That was physical. We could see it on the camera. So this is where, I hate, I'm not trying to be mean, but to me, this is just a straight up publicity. I'm just going to do this so I can gain more notoriety, or, I can get bigger and better at, at the content. Because, one, if you have physical evidence of something touching something, I'm not going to go and buy an EMF reader to try and ghost hunt when whatever it was an actual physical thing. So, this is where, the video, this is where my point of view needed to come out. Because to me, you went completely off the rails with, the ghost hunting equipment. First, debunk what is in front of you. Okay? You knew something happened to your cameras. You knew something happened to the one camera. That's when you go get more cameras. I mean, not necessarily more expensive trail click cameras. You can get cheaper ones, or, you could actually probably do a Wi-Fi system, put it up in a tree, run it on some batteries, and, put you a repeater on it. So that way you have good range. You can sit at your home and watch. I mean, there's ways to do this, but you just completely went off the rails, and this is where, in my mind, it just clicked that this is you doing your job. You're being a content creator. So now you're trying to lure people in because you think there's ghosts in the woods, which, we're not going to deny that, because, they do exist. They do roam. But you should have actually focused on the physical proof that you had first before you went this way. I mean, I'm not going to go too much further into it. They do some EVP session. Well, they do an EVP session with a spirit box. It does sound like they are picking up something, and it's basically telling them, hey, you need to leave, you need to go. And, if it is, and if it was a spirit, then you don't piss them off. I mean, good God, man. You don't. That's just like playing with a Ouija board. You don't. Because, all right, him and his buddies, again, and then I think they had an EMF reading of like a 1.9. 1.9 isn't that much. I mean, it really isn't. You'd want either like a 2, a 3, a 4, or a 5. Not a 1. I mean, granted, the 1.9 was high up there, but that could have been anything from the cameras you were using, your guys' cell phones, you were standing too close. Anything could have debunked that at all. Because, I mean, I hate to say it, looked like you guys were huddled up like it was one hell of a party at some points. But anyway, back into this portion here, which this is where it gets even more weird.
Be next to impossible to find anything in the overgrowth. I'm going to keep my eye out and really dig in during the fall and winter. The entire month of July, we had a problem with our security system. None of the cameras worked, and we called tech support every other day to no avail. They had no clue what was causing the cameras to malfunction. They replaced half of our equipment, and it still wouldn't function correctly. And then out of nowhere, on August 1st, the camera started working again. All right, guys, I'm going to try to explain this in the best way that I can. After Snip and Morgan left, our security cameras have not been operational for some reason. We've called tech support with no luck. They're just as confused as we are. They came out, they replaced some of our equipment, still didn't work, so they gave us a rebate for the month. Now, out of nowhere, it was August 1st, I believe. I was just randomly checking the cameras, and they worked, all of them. It is now the 2nd of August, and I noticed my dog Charlie was going absolutely insane at the back fence. I walked outside via the side of the house because it kind of sounded like the barks were coming from my driveway. Because Charlie, he doesn't bark a lot. Charlie is a very conservative dog. He's very...
I mean, I've had dogs that were very conservative, that, when you move, things change. There's new smells, they start getting used to their surroundings. So, anything like that can actually be debunked. So just saying that, well, my dog doesn't bark at the mailman doesn't mean anything. Dogs, but, dogs and animals can sense different things. So I'm not going to criticize you on that. It's just, and then the thing of it is now your security system that has worked perfectly throughout all this has, started to crash, started to, go down. You said that, they've been out multiple times, they've replaced hardware. They don't know this, or, they've given us a free month there, free month that. I mean, too much of a coincidence. Not saying that it's not going to happen, because, we don't know how old your security system really is. So yeah, that one is a bit weird, but again, it does add into the whole. We're buying ghost equipment. Now we're going to piss off a ghost. Now, how can we top that? That's how it's coming off. So now he does a good job
On
here.
my phone.
He does give it a time, and he says the date was wrong. I do believe.
As you can see down here, this is the timeline of the video last night. It was roughly 10 o'clock. And it's August, it says Tuesday. Okay, all my dogs right now are on the back porch. Let's hit play. Let me turn it up. There's a cricket that's absolutely loud, but you can hear what sounds like growling or barking. And then it cuts off. I don't know if you guys picked that up, but there was a pretty terrible sound on the camera, and it wasn't Charlie. It wasn't the neighbor's dog. I don't know what it was. So without cutting this video during the gaps, we're just going to let the gaps play, and maybe I'll fast forward them. Okay, went back off.
So, this right here, this is what I'm talking about. I mean, if you would timestamp every single video that you have from your security system, you have that timestamp, leave it on there. I mean, it kind of helps. I mean, if you're wanting if you're wanting help from others, and you're not wanting to be labeled as a this is just a PR boost, or anything like that, leave the timestamps or put the timestamps. You are a content creator, you know how to do that. But anyway, yeah, he goes through all of them for a few minutes, and it shows he's going out. There he is out. Now, it does look like the dog is in some sort of distress. And it actually does. I mean, I've been around dogs long enough to know how that looks. Because I've had my own encounter with something I'm not saying it was paranormal, supernatural, possibly. Um, and I had a dog the same way, just literally petrified. So,
That cricket is extremely loud and annoying.
now another suggestion that you can do, you have the raw footage, and you're taking the time to put all this together and edit it correctly. What you could also do is on some of your audio, you could run it through some filters and you can splice that in with your video. Clean it up. I actually tried with this. I'm not going to lie, I downloaded the video. I tried to run it through some sound filters, but the way it's compressed, it just didn't work. But if you still have the raw video from the security cam, you possibly could run it through some filters, clean it up, and bring out, or take out the cricket and bring up the background.
He immediately wanted to go in.
So, with the dogs and stuff, that is, he did look like there was some concern. Now we're going to skip because this video is going on an hour itself. But I'm trying to actually, give this guy the benefit of the doubt. But I mean, just so many parts are just, I don't know. It's not hitting me. Now the next one is apparently the spider web thing that people are calling it comes back. You can actually see the tip of it forming. Get off my screen. Right here. But now if you look, to me, I'm sorry, but it looks like something that's either being led on a string or on a stick. Not saying that it is, that's just me. I mean, because there looks like there was something right down here. And the way it's casting the pixelated shadows, it almost, I'm sorry, but this right here just I don't know, it looks like almost like a statue. Like the head and the shoulders of a statue. So
You can see another apparition or spider web floating in my backyard. My cat is extremely skittish. My cat rarely lets people pet him, and he runs even on the side of me. He's not a very sociable cat, but this thing, whatever it is there again, the exact same way it happened in the first video. And again, my camera's cut off. There was no feed for another 10 minutes. And when the security camera started recording again, it was gone.
Going back, to the Skinwalker thing, Your cat, you know, your dogs, they were, if it was a skinwalker, they would have already have, tried to invade your home. Now I did notice that, you leave your garage door open a lot. Uh, you know, that's just a welcome invitation if you do have, some sort of evil presence or something wanting to get at you. That's just open. You're basically opening the door to it. But the animals that you have, if it was a skinwalker, it would have already tried to make itself, inside your home at this point. Um, no, saying that the cat runs at you and stuff, and it doesn't run in the video. Again, I'm not trying to say that it's totally fake or it is fake, but there are just so many more questions than there are answers to what's actually going on. Miraculously, it stops recording again. And then 10 minutes later, it boots itself back up. So, at this point, if this is going on, instead of, buying ghost hunting equipment, which, you yourself don't really feel comfortable using, for one, you should have upgraded your security system. You could have went with a higher def night vision system, better audio system. Again, when you decided to do a paranormal investigation after a physical attack on your property from, we don't know, deer, we don't know. No one knows. You went around it, honestly, backwards. You should have actually got some more cameras, put them up a different spot, up high, or, attached them to a tree. You could have painted them to match the tree, you paint them to match the grass. Again, I even mentioned, depending on how far away you're going, I mean, you could probably buy a Wi-Fi system, and again, you could get a repeater to repeat the signal to, a base. I mean, you've got a four-wheel drive vehicle, drive the vehicle back in there, have a laptop. Lock your doors, put cameras around it while you're in it. There are so many things that you should have done that you didn't. And part two really just basically sent flags saying, honestly, to me, hey, look, I'm a content creator. I'm just going to do something here to kind of boost myself even more. And, you got two videos, one at 2 million views with almost 100K followers with only two videos. So, but yet, you keep saying you're working on, you've got other stuff that you're working on, but there's nothing else here. And don't take that, to offense. This is just my opinion, and me just talking, and just talking. Um, so, I don't know. If you do end up seeing this video, man, just, kind of take some of this, advice. You got to do something better than, wasting money on stuff that you don't need. The paranormal stuff you did not need. Your first primary focus was to find out what damaged your camera. Where are your other cameras? Again, if you go with another camera or you get more cameras, find someplace else to put them. Paint them to match a little bit better. Put the little AirPod things in for like your iPhone, or whatever, however you want to try and low jack it. If you do that, like I said, wrap the sensor in like a Ziploc bag, super glue it to the inside of the case, because you do live near water. So if someone happens to take it and throw it in the water, you want that sensor to, still be able to transmit a location. So, waterproof it. But anyway, I mean, guys, this is my, 2 cents on this. I really don't know what to really make of it. I really don't. So I mean, whether it's real or it's just a PR scam, I really couldn't tell you. Um, so yeah. But anyway, the guy's name is Vlad. I will link both videos. That way you guys can watch them in their full entirety if you haven't already. But, I'm just waiting for the next video. But anyway, you guys have a good one. And I'm going to keep watching and, check out and see when his next one comes out. So it looks like it's taking months before, he gets up enough, which is good, which is, he's not just trying to put anything together, which I can appreciate that. But anyway, thanks for tuning in, and, drop some comments down below, tell me what you guys think. I mean, real, PR, I mean, that's what that's what I'm just trying to figure out. But anyway, you guys take it easy, and I'll see you in the next one.